What if one small vaping device could expose your body to the nicotine equivalent of hundreds of cigarettes? Millions of people believe vaping is simply flavored vapor, a cleaner, safer alternative to smoking. But research suggests the real story is far more complicated. Behind every puff is a carefully engineered delivery system designed to keep you coming back. And the most concerning effects may be happening long before you notice any symptoms. Many people assume they're inhaling nothing more than harmless flavoring. In reality, those flavoring chemicals were developed to be eaten, not breathed deep into the lungs. Instead of simple water vapor, vaping creates an aerosol made of microscopic droplets. These tiny particles can travel through the lungs and enter the bloodstream, carrying chemicals throughout the body. And that's only the beginning of the story. Modern disposable vapes often use nicotine salts, a formulation that reduces the harsh sensation once caused by traditional nicotine. That smoother experience allows users to inhale far more nicotine without realizing how much they're consuming. Studies indicate repeated exposure gradually changes how nicotine receptors respond, encouraging the brain to crave more over time. But the next effect may surprise even long-term users. One of the biggest misconceptions is that vaping helps people relax. Nicotine is actually a stimulant. It narrows blood vessels and activates the body's stress response. The sense of calm often comes from temporarily relieving nicotine withdrawal, not from reducing stress itself. Over time, this cycle teaches the brain to depend on nicotine just to feel normal, creating a powerful pattern that's difficult to break. Another widespread myth is that vaping produces only harmless water vapor. In reality, the aerosol may contain solvents, synthetic flavorings, and compounds formed during heating. Research has identified substances such as formaldehyde, acrolein, and traces of heavy metals under certain conditions. While vaping may expose users to fewer chemicals than traditional cigarettes, fewer does not necessarily mean harmless, and the long-term health questions are still unfolding.
Inside every puff is more than nicotine. The liquid may contain vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, and artificial flavorings. When heated, some ingredients can break down into compounds that research has linked to irritation and inflammation. Certain flavoring chemicals have also raised concerns in occupational health studies. Although scientists continue to study long-term effects, the lungs were never designed to process these heated aerosols day after day. Once nicotine enters the bloodstream, it travels quickly throughout the body. It reaches the brain within seconds and can also influence the heart, blood vessels, and adrenal glands. Research suggests repeated exposure may increase cellular stress and inflammation over time. These changes don't always produce immediate symptoms, which is why many people underestimate what may be happening beneath the surface. But the brain is where the biggest changes begin. Nicotine strongly affects dopamine, the brain chemical involved in motivation and reward. Every puff reinforces a powerful message: repeat this behavior. Over time, the brain adapts by becoming less responsive, meaning the same amount of nicotine no longer feels enough. That's why cravings often become stronger instead of weaker. But the emotional effects of this process are often misunderstood. Many users describe vaping as something that improves their mood, but researchers believe the temporary relief often comes from satisfying nicotine dependence rather than creating genuine emotional well-being. As the brain becomes more dependent, normal activities may feel less rewarding without nicotine. This cycle can quietly reshape daily habits, making it increasingly difficult to stop. And teenagers face an even greater risk. For teenagers and young adults, the risks may be even greater because the brain is still developing. Studies suggest nicotine exposure during this stage can affect learning, attention, memory, and impulse control. That's one reason health experts continue to warn against youth vaping. Understanding how addiction works is the first step, but learning how to break that cycle may be the most important lesson of all.
Addiction isn't simply about weak willpower. Repeated nicotine exposure changes the brain's reward pathways, making vaping feel like part of your normal routine. Over time, everyday situations, driving, taking a break, or finishing a meal, can automatically trigger cravings. The brain begins linking these moments with nicotine, making the habit increasingly difficult to interrupt. Each craving creates a feeling of discomfort, and each puff briefly relieves it. That temporary relief convinces the brain that vaping solved the problem, even though nicotine created the discomfort in the first place. This repeating cycle strengthens dependence over time. Recognizing this pattern is one of the first steps toward breaking free from it. The encouraging news is that the brain is remarkably adaptable. After nicotine use stops, many receptor changes begin adjusting over time. While recovery isn't immediate, research suggests the brain can gradually regain healthier patterns. The process requires patience, but every nicotine-free day gives the body another opportunity to heal and rebalance. Breaking nicotine dependence often takes more than determination alone. Support from healthcare professionals, family members, and evidence-based quit programs can significantly improve success. Replacing vaping with healthier routines like regular exercise, quality sleep, and stress management may reduce cravings and help build lasting habits. Every small improvement moves you closer to long-term recovery. Understanding the science behind vaping is powerful, but knowledge only matters when it leads to action. Every decision you make today influences your future health. Whether you're considering quitting or simply learning the facts, being informed is the strongest place to begin. In our final chapter, we'll bring everything together and discuss the most important takeaway of all.
Compared with traditional cigarettes, many vaping products contain fewer toxic chemicals. However, fewer chemicals do not automatically mean safe. Researchers continue to study the long-term health effects, and many important questions remain unanswered. If a product repeatedly exposes your lungs, heart, and brain to addictive nicotine and harmful byproducts, it still deserves serious attention. The next point may be the most important of all. One of the greatest challenges with vaping is that many changes happen silently. You may not notice damage developing day by day, but research suggests repeated exposure can gradually affect multiple body systems. By the time symptoms appear, those changes may have been occurring for months or even years. That's why prevention is often easier than treatment. If you're thinking about quitting, remember that lasting change rarely happens overnight. Many people succeed by setting realistic goals, identifying triggers, and seeking professional support when needed. Every nicotine-free day allows your body another opportunity to recover. Progress may be gradual, but each step forward is meaningful, and your future self will benefit from every healthy choice you make today. The goal isn't fear, it's understanding. Science continues to uncover how vaping affects the body, and the evidence is still growing. Making informed decisions based on reliable medical research gives you the best chance to protect your health. Knowledge is one of the most powerful tools you have, especially when it comes to preventing long-term disease. Vaping may seem modern and convenient, but its effects reach far beyond a single puff. From the brain and heart to the lungs and bloodstream, nicotine influences far more than most people realize. As research continues to evolve, one message remains clear. Understanding the science empowers better decisions. If you found this documentary helpful, consider sharing it with someone who may benefit from the facts. Thank you for watching.